All right, so in this video, we're going to have a look at how we can create a base, and then we'll add some cards to it. So a base will basically be a little bit like a spreadsheet, but not really, and I'll show you how that works. So to create the base, you just go here to the left-hand side. So this is where you will have all of your files in your vault. And there's a few buttons around here that you can explore, but the easiest way I found is just to right-click anywhere here on the big gray area, and you'll get a few options. So you can see you have an option for a new note, a new folder, a new canvas, and a new base. And of course it is the base we want, so let's click on that. And you'll immediately see it creating the base over here. It looks a little bit odd, of course, but we will change that in a second. So the first thing I'll do is just to change the name. So we will change from untitled to card database. And there we go. We have the card database over here. So you can see now we have two files. And then you can see the data, or the base here, the database has pulled both the welcome node and the card database, so itself essentially. And that's because the way a base works is that by default, it will pull every single file you have. So if you had 1,000 files over here, it would pull all of those files by default. And that's where the filter comes in, yeah. So if you click on the filter over here, you'll see you have a few options. But the thing is, we don't really have anything to filter from. But what we essentially want is for this database to be to basically display you every single card you have ever created. So everything from unfinished cards to launch card, basically, when you get to that point. So I will start by setting up a little folder structure here on the left-hand side. And we can do that by clicking this little folder button, or you can just right click and add a folder. So we have the folder here, and we'll call it cards. Right, and then I will right click on the cards folder, and I'll add another folder. And we'll call that sets. And just to show you the purpose of this, I'll just add another one called decks. So in the sets folder, you could have any sets you have, and the deck folder, of course, would have stuff like structure decks or starter decks, or, you know, pre-constructed decks of all sorts. So we're going to work with the set folder. So again, you right click and you add a new folder, and we'll call that folder test set, or you can call it the prototype set, or whatever you fancy. You can also, of course, set up your project in any way you want. But for this demonstration here, we'll just set it up like this. So now we have a test set under the set folder, under the cards folder. So now we're still in the card database here, as you can see. We can go up to the filter, and this is the filter we want to look at this point. So for this view, and that's the thing, instead of a spreadsheet, it's called a view. So you have the base, which just is a container that displays data. And then the view decides which data to show you, basically. So you can have multiple spreadsheets, if that makes sense. I'll show you in a second. So for this one, we have the this view, all the following are true. So we want to have the file needs to be in the folder. Then you get a few options here. So in this case, we just want to be under cards. So you can see already now, it removed the files. So now it's empty. You can see we have 0 results. So what we want to do is, of course, to add our first card. But how do we do that? Well, if we click new over here, it will just open a new base. That's not what we want. And there's no other way to add it from here, essentially. So we want to go over to our test set, or wherever you decided to put it. And if you right click it, you can add a new note. So the node here is basically what is going to be your card. So while in something like a spreadsheet, the card data would be sitting on a specific line or row in the spreadsheet, in Obsidian, it will be its own file. So we will have all of the information tied to this card. We will have that in this file. Okay, so we can start by changing the name. So let's just call this test 000. That will be our first card name. You can, of course, call it whatever you want. So right now we just have an empty document still. And if I go back to the database, we will still just see it says test 000, right? So you have the card here. It recognizes we have the card, but there's no details for it. It doesn't look quite right yet, does it? So this is where we need to do a little bit of magic. So bear with me. So at the very top line here, so just underneath where you have the file name, you can see I'm on the very first line. If I click anywhere, if I haven't written anything in it, it will take me to the top line. But it needs to be the top line, and then you hit dash, dash, dash. So triple dashes. So like this 1, 2, and 3. The third time we do it, it will come up with this property box, which is essentially the columns, or it's going to represent the columns in a spreadsheet. So each property will be one column. So it will have all of the data for the card. So in this case, I'm going to add our first property, and that'll be the card ID. Okay, I'll add another property. I'll call that the name of the card. I'll add another one, and that'll be the cost. And I'll add an attack power, and I'll add health. And then lastly, I'll just add, add an effect. All right, so now we have these 6 properties here, which, I mean, I'll just keep it simple for demonstration purposes, but of course you can add as many as you need. But we'll just go and fill these out. So card ID in this case will just be test 000. I'll call this the first card. That's a very cool card name. And then for the cost, it'll be a 2 cost. It'll be a 3 power, 2 health. I'll have the ability to be awesome. There we go. You can of course put whatever you want. This is just a test. So there we go. We got our first card. So now if we go back to the card database, boom, you can see that nothing have changed. We still just have the test 000. Thing is, you can click on this one and you'll get into the card. But that's not what we want. We want to be able to see all of the details here. And you can do that by going to the Properties tab up here in the top right. And then when you click that, you will see a lot of built-in properties, and you don't necessarily need to worry. You can check if there's any of them that are of any use to you. But otherwise, if you go towards the bottom, you'll see all of the properties we just added. And they will be added here, one column at a time, in the order that you click them. But you can rearrange them later. So let's go with the card ID first, and the name, and then the cost, the attack power, and let's just say we go with effect and then health. And we want to change that, of course, in a second. I'll just show you how it works. So there we go. We now have the different properties we just added, and I'll just drag the health over here. So it's next to attack power. Right, so there we go. That starts to look a little bit more like a spreadsheet, right? Of course, right now we have the double test ID and file, and essentially I would probably, for me, I'm using the card name as the file name, as it's just easy to organize over here. So of course we can just go into properties, and for now let's turn off the the card ID. So we just have the file name, which is the card ID in this case, and then the name, cost, and so on and so forth. You can see it's not quite displaying the card name as much as we want, so you can just double click in between here. Thought you could. We'll just drag it a little bit. There you go. Again, this is still a new feature in Obsidian, so there might be a few shortcomings, but I'm sure they will sort them out sooner rather than later, really. So there we go. We got our first card. So how do you add another card? Obviously, it'd be annoying if you go in here, just like we did before, and you click New Node, and you come in here, and everything is empty, right? Then you have to put in all of the properties again, or copy them over. We don't want that. So let's just go into the new card here and call this one test 001, right? Have the test 001 here. We don't want to fill everything in manually. So we do go back to the card database. You can see here, we got some fields we can fill out. And if we start filling those out, depending on the order that we fill them in, it will add those properties to the base file. That means that while we would like to have it in this order, so name, cost, attack power, health power, and so on and so forth, it will add it in reverse. And also in this case, since we removed the card ID, it wouldn't even add that one, right? So you could argue you want to have the card ID back to fill that one in, or you can just leave it empty for now. So I'll just show you here. So if I do the effect, this one is not awesome. Don't be awesome. Right, and this is a 1 cost, and it's very sour. So it's a 111, and we call it the second card. Again, oops. We can just make this a little bit longer. Then There we go. And now if I click on the test here, it brings me into the file. And you'll see we have them in reverse order. Unfortunately, right now, there's not an easy way to fix that, not that I'm aware of at least. So you can drag them manually if you want. So I can drag it to where I want it to be. But that's about it. That's the option you got, basically. I would say, though, it doesn't matter too much. For the most part, you probably won't be working from in here. You would be working from out here. And if you do that, it won't be a problem. If, however, you do prefer to work from within the file and you want it to look decent, there is a little workaround. And that is just to create a template. So imagine this is the template. You'll just leave these empty. And you will set up the properties in the order that you would like. And then you simply just right-click it over here, and you can click Make a Copy. So I'll just do that now to show you. So there we go. We have the test 000 and then a 1. And I can change this now to 2, because that's our new card. And of course, it kept all of the details here, so we need to change those as well. So this is the third card, and this would be a 3 cost, because why not? It would be a 4/4, because that's crazy. And the effect is maybe like this video. Why not? Right. So there we go. That is the third card. And now if I go back to the card database again, you can see it right there. And I didn't call it third, so I can just change it here. Quite neat, eh? So there we go. We got 3 cards so far. I'll just go ahead and create a few more cards. I'll just cut the video just now, and I'll be back in a second. All right, so there we go. We got 10 cards. So as you can see, we got 10 cards here. And I just want to point out that if you want to change the file name here, so if you want to keep it as the name of the card itself, but you don't, like you just put in a placeholder like I did here, you cannot really click on it like you can any of the other boxes here, because clicking on it will just take you to the card itself, right? So what you do is just to right click it, and then you can rename it here. Alternatively, you can also rename it over here on the side. All right. So that's essentially it. You have managed to create your first base and a few cards, hopefully. So in the next video, we're going to have a look at how you can export this database basically into a CSV file, which you can then use in whichever software you use to generate the cards, such as Nandeck. So yeah, stay tuned, and the link will be up here somewhere above my head, yeah? All right, see ya.